watching.
Subscribe. Hello, you're watching ScreenStalker, The Lost World. I'm Fakidor Laurie Blake. This is Luke Owen, and coming up on today's show, there's a controversy around Call of Duty Modern Warfare.
Original Jurassic Park characters are returning.
And we'll be going through your comments from yesterday's video where you were asked, what is the worst thing about Netflix? But on Friday, we'll be going through the comments from today's video. Head down to the comments section and answer this question. How would you write the original Jurassic Park cast back into Jurassic World 3? There was PlayStation had a State of Play rip-off Nintendo Direct video last night, in which they announced a release date for Last of Us 2. Great stuff.
Very exciting.
A demo for Medieval.
Very exciting.
Great stuff. Call of Duty Modern Warfare has got a tiny little PlayStation exclusive sliver of content. This Special Ops survival mode would be exclusive to PlayStation for a year. Publishers need money from someone else, usually to get their game out and to deliver these extra bits of content. The money that Sony pays Activision for the exclusive bits of Call of Duty is actually helping to make Call of Duty games. The problem with having a full year of one mode belonging to just PlayStation is there'll be another Call of Duty out next year, so surely. So it's irrelevant. If you can get the Spec Ops survival mode now, guys, well, that's great. We're playing the next one now, so.
But it is a bit of a slap in the face to those people who are on a different console. Like, I think exclusive games are a good thing. I think Sony having Spider-Man last year and Dad of War and all these sorts of games, like, that's good because as a punter, it makes you want to buy that console and it makes you want to, like, I don't want that Xbox One over there because I want to play my Spider-Man. I want to play my Spider-Man game. Yeah. But then when you are making a game that is across all platforms, and you're like, do you know what the best thing about this is? It doesn't matter if your mate's got an Xbox One because you are loyal to the PlayStation, you bought it for the Spider-Man game, you get to play it with Dave down the road. It's all great, mate. And then to very quietly go like, you can play it completely, apart from this one map that you cannot only play with your mate Steve down the road because he's also got a PlayStation.
You know, the exclusives are really good if they do just belong to that console, like The Last of Us 2 is going to be a great example of a exclusive game that's going to sell PlayStation 4s for the 6 months before the PlayStation 5 comes out. Whatever, sorry guys. But like, and the reason it's good is because it pushes also, Sony having this stable of exclusives has pushed Microsoft to buy a load of studios and try to make really good exclusive games. And you get better deals if you're an Xbox player because Sony exists and is doing exclusives. The Activision thing doesn't make it better for anyone. And it's stupid because, yeah, sure, Activision get that little extra bit of money, but they probably get more money for people being like, oh, there's an amazing mode that you can all play together and we can all get it because we're all on whatever console and it's got crossplay completely. If you're selling it for every console anyway, make all of it available on every console and compatible with all the other consoles. Colin Trevorrow said he's found a way to bring back the cast of the original Jurassic Park for Jurassic World 3.
Wait, that was hard.
That way is money, I'm sure.
Yeah, I found a way. I've found a way to bring these characters that are already in the world into the world. Not a really big thing to boast about there, Colin.
No, but this is, I mean, it's quite interesting news, though. So Collider were putting on a special Jurassic World screening, and an audience member asked Colin whether or not some of the characters from Jurassic Park would be returning for Jurassic World 3. And he sort of went, here's one I made earlier, and then brought out Laura Dern. Like, oh yeah, Ellie's coming back, yay! But he also said that Sam Neill and Jeff Goldblum will be returning. Jeff Goldblum obviously returned for a very brief cameo in Fallen Kingdom. Yeah. Sam Neill and Laura Dern were last seen in the really rather brilliant Jurassic Park 3.
I mean, I've seen a few people online saying that they're only excited for this if they are, like, main characters. Yeah. And it's like we can essentially bypass Chris Pratt and Dallas Bryce Howard, or Bryce Dallas Howard, I always forget the ordering of the names, and her.
Howard Dallas Bryce.
So, you know, if we could sort of, like, push those two to the side and focus on these three again.
It's been said that they're not just going to be cameos, they're going to be big parts in this film, which is the right choice. But, you know, Ian Malcolm has experience of dinosaurs get into the real world.
He does, yeah. San Francisco.
Alan Grant is probably the most knowledgeable about any of the Jurassic World Park things, having visited multiple times.
Yeah.
And
Laura Dern knows plants.
Ellie, she was on the phone, wasn't she, in Jurassic Park 3? So she could, I guess she could do a walkie-talkie or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think there's a lot to be gained from having. Like, I would love to see the interplay between Sam Neill and Chris Pratt.
Oh yeah.
As the two sort of like hero characters. It's almost kind of the dynamic of that you wanted from the Indiana Jones film with the Shia LaBeouf bit. Like this could be that dynamic, because I always feel like Alan Grant was my Indiana Jones in the 90s.
Yeah, totally.
You know, and then I think Chris Pratt was always kind of that person who was on the tap-up list for Indiana Jones as well, and to have him be the dinosaur man.
Yeah, totally.
The thing is with Jurassic World 3 is that it feels like the movie that the studio always wanted them to make and nobody was ever making. Like, clearly Lost World they wanted to do King Kong, but with T-Rexes. And that's why at the end they very quickly went, no, it's in the real world, and then we put it back on the boat and send it back, because they were like, well, we can't just do this whole film. And now they're like, we always wanted to do this King Kong dinosaur thing.
It's funny, like Steven Spielberg admitted in an interview that the reason why they did the San Francisco scene is because they'd heard that Sony were doing the Godzilla, the Western Godzilla movie, and they were like, well, we're going to do our dinosaur in a suburban environment first.
Exactly.
We came out 3 years prior. Haha, we won!
Yeah, exactly. So I just think this is kind of the pathetic studio attempt to be like, well, we've literally burned down Jurassic Park in Fallen Kingdom. So now this is all you can have.
But I feel like that was always the plan. Like, for my money, from watching Jurassic World and watching Fallen Kingdom, this always felt like this was the trajectory we were going on. Yeah. Like, Jurassic World was the apex of this experiment working, and it all fell apart. And you had Vincent D'Onofrio saying we're trying to weaponize these things, and InGen is sort of like working alongside this other company. It felt like this is always where we were heading, was weaponized dinosaurs and dinosaurs living amongst us.
Yeah. I think, as long as they are not all controlled by laser pointer. Yeah,
and I don't want... Do you remember these like designs they did for Jurassic Park 4, the unmade Jurassic Park 4, where it was raptors who were like fused with guns? Like, I'm not really on board with that.
No? Are you sure?
I don't want a T-Rex holding a rifle being like, I can't fire it. I just can't fire it.
It's got two little shurikens. Would you be excited for those three characters to return?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm dead excited for them to return.
Are they going to get Hammond back?
Well, he's definitely
using
dead.
A series of magical techniques.
Definitely dead. They said that in Jurassic World, that he's definitely dead. So yesterday, Ollie and I asked you, what do you think is the biggest problem with Netflix currently, and why they're in a bit of a crisis mode? And you answered with Anthony saying, my problem with Netflix is that the horror movies on there are mostly garbage. It's quite true, actually. It's usually quite a poor selection of horror movies.
I did watch Cabin in the Woods.
Oh, great film
yesterday, which is, I don't think, really a horror film. It's just a great film.
Yeah, it's just a really great film. I mean, to be honest, if you want horror films, just get Shudder. But then again, we're pulling into that trap again of like, how many streaming services do I have to subscribe to?
Because then the real thing that's scaring you is your bank account at the end of the month.
Totally, yeah. It's scary enough as it is.
Misha Sumra said, what's wrong with Netflix? The traditional appeal of Netflix was having everything in one place. Fragmentation is occurring, and Netflix just isn't as special as it used to be.
This is exactly what Ollie and I were saying on yesterday's video. Yeah, totally.
Well, especially now it's lost Disney, which obviously owns so much.
Everything, yeah.
Like, Disney Plus will eventually be the place because it will just own everything else.
Oh, yeah.
Apart from, I don't know, Queer Eye. But,
oh, they'll get them eventually. The Fab Five will sell themselves out for that Disney dollar.
Because of all the outfits.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Jonathan dressed as Elsa from Frozen for weeks.
Because then you can do like a Queer Eye special of them going around the Disney parks, dressing up the princesses and the princes.
I like it.
Yeah, I'm in for it.
Just be yourself, honey.
I mean, they can literally say...
Who gave you the right to be so gorgeous?
I mean, they can literally say, yes, queen, while speaking to queens. Yeah. And lastly, the Cosmic Anvil says the problem with Netflix is now they think people will just get it on name value alone instead of buying some good TV shows, movies people actually want to watch. I think what Netflix need is they need another big hit. If they can get another big hit under their belt, another couple of big hits, if you can get another Stranger Things, like a sort of... it becomes a big pop culture thing that everyone is talking about, a proper water cooler TV show, then they'll probably be fine. If they can get another couple of those, they'll be all right. But as you say, the problem is that they commission 20,000 shows with the hope that one of them becomes their next Stranger Things.
Well, it's putting things behind it, isn't it? It's like when you commission something, you have to put the marketing into it.
That's exactly it.
The problem with Netflix is it's impossible to market something where 75 things are new each week.
Yeah.
So every time you turn it on, it just goes, here's what's new each week, and it's just an overwhelming list. Have you seen the trailer for the thing Tall Girl?
Oh, mate, that film's rad.
Well, that is all we have time for. Thank you for watching. Please go to the comments down below and answer the question of the day, because we'll be going through them on Friday. I've been Fakidor Laurie Blake. This has been Luke Owen. And remember, we're
Tall
watching.
Girl.